How's it going, everybody? My name is Thomas Draven, back again for another video, and we're going to be doing an updated guitar collection video today for 2020. This is close to around a year after I did my first ever guitar collection video last year, and I've gotten a bunch of different guitars, traded out a lot of the inventory of guitars that I keep, and just sold off a lot of guitars outright. So any guitars that you saw in the last video that you don't see here, I've gotten rid of them, sold them, done something with them. They're no longer with me. And the guitars I'm about to show you are the ones that I keep and the ones that I am keeping for the foreseeable future because I'm trying to not sell, well, trying to sell some, but not trying to buy any more. So I'm gonna grab a few guitars and we're going to go over them. First up, we have my Epiphone Acoustic guitar. I don't know a lot about this guitar or the model or really anything about Epiphone guitars, but there's a pretty neat story behind this one. I was in my senior year of high school. It was near the end of the year, and what they started doing is that in the mornings in the library, musicians from the school could come and perform and put on a little show for the people in the library in the morning, and they asked me to come perform for them, which I thought was really cool. And I thought it was kind of a big deal at the time. I don't know, it seems kind of marginal by this point, but at the time I thought it was really super cool. And so I was like, man, I just got a gig, so I'm going to go out and buy a cool new acoustic guitar. So I went to a local pawn shop and I saw actually like 3 of these guitars hanging on the wall. I don't know how they had 3 of the exact same model, of the exact same guitar, sitting on the wall at the same time in this little pawn shop, but I picked up all 3 of them, tried them out, and the other 2 sounded like crap. This one sounds amazing. This one sounds fantastic. I mean, I don't know if that's something that'll get picked up on phone audio. That was kind of dumb, but just acoustically and sonically, it sounds way better than either 2 of the other acoustic guitars that I played that day. Atlas the dog has found something that's interested him. He's a good boy. Anyway, this is my Epiphone Acoustic, best acoustic I've ever played. I don't really play a lot of acoustics. That's probably why this is the best one I've ever played. And this is the first guitar in the collection. Next up, and I have to stand a bit back so I can get it all in frame, but this is a Fender made in Mexico jazz bass. I picked this up while I was away at college because I wanted a bass for recording. I do a lot of recording for my band Low Life Tea Party. If anyone was not aware, I do a lot of that recording on my own. So I didn't have a bass with me at college, and I really needed one for some of the stuff that I was doing. So I saw this again at like a really kind of dinky shop where they sold mainly pianos, and then they had a few guitars and basses in a small separate room. And I saw this for like 250 bucks, and I absolutely just had to jump on it because it's a Fender bass. And so this is what I use for pretty much all of the bass tracking for my band, and I could not be happier with the way it sounds. That being said, might swap out the pickups for, I don't know, something goofy and something fun, like maybe like a precision bass pickup and like a humbucker in the bridge, just because I like fucking with guitars and making them weird and, I don't know, kind of my own. But this is my bass guitar that I use for all of my band's recording. Next up, we have this pretty modified Cozart semi-hollow Stratocaster. This is a really interesting guitar and kind of has a funny story behind it. You know, Cozart is not necessarily a very expensive brand to buy from. They've never been known for like super high quality, high-end instruments. But a few years ago, I had a semi-hollow Strat that I built myself out of a kit I found on eBay, and after I bought that kit, I could never find any kits similar to that one, and I ended up selling that guitar I don't remember why. I think I just wasn't playing it that much, and at that point I had so many guitars for some reason. And so I just kind of got rid of it and kind of regretted it, because it was a really cool concept to have, like, you know, the classic Strat style body, but then have the F-hole in there. It's kind of like a thin line telly, but a Strat. And then, this was again probably a couple months ago, maybe February. I saw this one pop up on Facebook, and I was like, this is pretty much exactly like the guitar that I got rid of and regretted getting rid of. So I messaged the seller and picked it up for 150 bucks. And the pickguard that was originally in there was just all single coils. And I think the single coils that were in it and are still in it are from a Mexican Strat. Could be wrong on that one. But it was routed for a humbucker in the bridge, and I kind of require a humbucker in the bridge for the stuff that I do, because I like the sort of attack you get from a humbucker, and the power and all that, obviously. So I bought a new pickguard, swapped all the electronics into it. It didn't really fit very well, so I had to sort of break the pickguard off in this bit, but everything I do is kind of get it rigged like that. And Seymour Duncan Omega bridge pickup, Marc Holcomb signature bridge pickup, and single volume, because who needs a tone knob, seriously. So 5-way switch, HSS configuration, super hot, amazing high output pickup in the bridge, single volume, and this thing absolutely rips. It's not the most comfortable to play, because obviously it was never meant to be. Can use a fret job, but does it work as a great backup guitar? Absolutely. And I'm not too bothered if it gets checked or damaged or destroyed, because there's really not a lot in this financially. So it's a great backup guitar, and yeah, it's a super cool, super sort of quirky instrument. And next up we have my Harley Benton fan fret 8-string. This is the only 8-string that I own currently. I used to have a couple more, but one of them is sitting in pieces in my dad's shop, and I sold the other one like last week. I bought this guitar probably in January when I got back from winter break, because I wanted to put these Fishman Fluence pickups, these Stephen Carpenter Fishman Fluence pickups, into my Ibanez S8, the 8-string Ibanez S series, and the body cavity was too thin. You know, the S series are known for the really thin bodies, so I couldn't actually fit the electronics in the guitar, so I just ripped them out, ordered this from Thomann online, and within a couple weeks it was at my door, and then slapped these bad boys in there, and this thing absolutely rips. And this does get used for my band, which kind of surprises people when they hear my band stuff. They're like, oh, there's no way you can use an 8-string on that. And well, I'd like to challenge that, and on our latest album that came out a few weeks ago, we had an 8-string song on there, and it sounds fucking cool. So anybody who says you can't use 8-string guitars for rock is wrong. And before I put this one away, if it looks weird and different, that's probably because it looks like it has white inlays. Usually these guitars just have like black dot inlays, but I thought they were kind of generic and boring. So these white looking inlays are literally just electrical tape that I just, you know, put across the fretboard and did my best to, you know, fit it to size. It's not the cleanest thing, but I think it looks pretty good on camera. And if you're not really looking directly at it or looking at it up close, it looks perfectly fine. Moving swiftly along, we have my beautiful and amazing PRS SE Marc Holcomb signature guitar. This was, I got this guitar when I got all my college applications in. So I've had this guitar for a little bit over a year now. I bought this, I think I ordered it, put it on layaway at my local guitar shop. When I got all my college applications in, and I was like just kind of checking out at that point of like stressing about school, and I bought myself a cool guitar. Since then, I swapped out the pickups. These are not the original Seymour Duncan Alpha Omegas that come in these. They're awesome pickups, but I really love Fishman Fluence pickups. As you'll come to realize, I have them in a lot of my guitars, and I have a couple extra sets just kind of laying around for future projects. So I got a red Chapman ML3 Pro Modern, and it was a really cool guitar, really loved it, but just kind of didn't think I needed it, needed the extra cash. And so I took the pickups out of that, which were Fishman Fluence Moderns, put them in this, took the Alpha Omegas out, put it in the Chapman, and then sold it. And so now this has the the Fishman Pro Moderns, push-pull for the voice change, 5-way selector switch, and just got rid of the tone pot because I never use it. And so it's just this little black cap. And this is an amazing guitar. I might be getting rid of it at some point because I want to pursue some other guitars, which I'll explain in a little bit what I mean by that. But I really like this guitar. It would be a shame if I had to sell it, but sometimes that's just how it pans out in life. So I guess we'll see. And moving on to another periphery inspired guitar. This is an Ibanez BM27 Jake Bowen signature 7-string guitar. This one is also a really fantastic guitar. Cannot say enough about how cool this thing is, and I got it for a really cool price, which makes it even sweeter. This is entirely bone stock, outside of maybe the strap locks, because I don't think they come stock with the DiMarzio clip straps. But I bought this last December. I bought it because I found it on Reverb for an insanely good price, because there's like a little bit of a crack in the fretboard, but I think it's purely cosmetic, or maybe it was just something that happened because the original owner lived in Canada, so the cold climate in there might have caused the wood to crack a little bit, but it's never affected the playing whatsoever. This thing sets up like a champion and absolutely rips, and I can't say enough about how good it plays. And I'm kind of going off and ranting here now, but you know, this is bone stock, so DiMarzio Titan pickups, 5-way switch, single volume. I think this is a Edge Zero bridge, something like that. I love this guitar. Might end up selling it because I want to pursue other things. Like I said, sometimes that's just the way it works out, where you love a guitar a lot, but there's just other types of gear that you want to start using. Again, I'll explain what that means in a second, but I really like this guitar. It's just a little heavy, and I don't know. Yeah. I might end up selling this guitar, not because it's a bad guitar, but again, like I said, I want to pursue other things gear-wise, and I will explain what that means shortly. But only complaints with this guitar is it's a bit heavy, and I'm not a huge fan of the floating trem. It's not the most inconvenient thing I've ever had to work on. In all truth, I actually find floating trems not that difficult to work on. I find like big speed tremolos the most annoying thing on this planet to do any sort of anything on, but it's just not for me, and I don't use it all that often, so I kind of would prefer if I had a 7-string that kind of reflected that, just with like a regular hardtail bridge, just so I didn't have to worry about it, and so I could, you know, change tunings a bit more frequently without having to, you know, open up the back cavity and all that. Any case, it's a cool guitar, love it. Can't say enough about it, how much I like it, but at the same time, not exactly my thing. And this is the main event. This is the guitar that I use most often. This is my #1 go-to guitar for just about everything, for tracking, recording, writing, playing live. This is the guitar that I always go for. This is my baby. This is my 10S custom headless guitar, fan fret, 6-string. Beautiful, gorgeous, looks like the ocean and space had a child, and it's this guitar. I can't say enough about how awesome this thing is. and that's the reason why I'm trying to start to get rid of some of my other guitars, is so I can buy more of these and just have these be sort of like my mainstay guitar, because you know, this is a custom guitar that I ordered with all of my specs, and I want this to be my mainstay guitar, because this is a custom guitar that I ordered with all the, you know, specs picked out by me. I picked out, you know, the radius of the fretboard and the neck profile and the body wood and the materials and the neck wood, etc., and pickups, and it all came together as such an amazing, just perfect guitar. And it's really, for me, a perfect guitar for me, for what I want it to do. So I just want to have a bunch of these, and I don't really need anything else. So yeah, that's why I'm, you know, starting to get rid of some of the guitars that I really like, but I don't like them as much as I would like more of these. And before I go too far off on a tangent on that, again, roasted maple neck and fretboard, basswood body, poplar burl veneer, not an actual top, it's veneer. It looks like a top, but it's just a thin sheet. And then Tosin Abazi Fishman Fluence pickups, perfect pickups, absolutely just sound fucking fantastic. We'll never be able to talk about how good these things sound in anything, any guitar. Single volume, push-pull, 5-way switch, simple for me at least. I mean, it's really hard to screw up with this guitar because it just sounds amazing whatever you do with it, and this is my number one. And there you have it. Those are all of my guitars for the year 2020 that I have so far. If I get anything new and cool, I'll be sure to update you guys as I get it. I'm trying to not let this get too long-winded, but I'm doing my best, and I always tend to ramble. So I'm gonna cut it off here. Hope you've enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you did. My name is Thomas Draven. Have a wonderful day. Peace. Most random outro ever.